The Kingdom Hearts Missing Link teaser trailer just dropped, and man, is there a lot to go over. Welcome back everyone, this is your girl Empowered Muse, and today we're going to dive deeper into the latest Kingdom Hearts Missing Link teaser trailer, and go over everything you need to know. Now we won't dive all the way into the theories just yet. I honestly feel like I could write up about 5 theory videos from this teaser trailer alone, if not more, and I absolutely will in the future. But we'll just be doing a breakdown analysis of what we're currently seeing in this trailer. So let's start with the very first frame we see, and it's the player character opening their eyes and drifting over their own station of awakening with the caption, "On the night you open your eyes in this world, the stars beautifully distorted rain down from the pitch black sky." So right away, this quote is almost exactly like the quote we saw in the first trailer for Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, the one saying, "The night you awoke in this world, the stars shone contorted in the pitch black sky." So while at first this seemed like the star is signaling Brain's arrival, perhaps this is actually the signal for player's arrival. And for player's station of awakening, we see this beautiful CG stained glass showing Skuld, Ephemer, and a Chirithy in the immediate foreground, a shot of Daybreak Town in the far background, and the 5 foretellers, Ira, Envy, Ava, Asid, and Gula towards the top. And the inner border of the stained glass heart seems to depict a similar sigil that we've been seeing throughout Missing Link, a heart with a crown and 7 arms. So right away, I think this shows who player held close to them throughout their time in Union Cross. And there's no doubt that the Chirithy we see in the stained glass is actually the player's own Chirithy. And I do think it's interesting that the foretellers are featured here as well, although there is some significance depending on which Union player belonged to. And player did have interactions with most of the foretellers throughout the story in Union Cross. I think what's also notable is that the foretellers are not actually fully colorized, but a more sepia shade, which typically depicts a person of the past. So it could stand to reason that the foretellers will likely not make an appearance this time around in the story of Missing Link, with Luxu obviously being the exception to that. The next frame shows 3 lines that say GPS, action, and RPG, so this is essentially describing the type of game we're getting. So the GPS is very much integrated into Missing Link, and the best way to describe it or compare it seems to be that it's basically Kingdom Hearts Go, like Pokemon Go. However, it has been stated and reiterated that there is an option for you to enjoy the game and story without using the GPS features. The GPS features are likely used more so for co-op Heartless raids, but I don't think those who opt out of that will miss the more important parts of the game, like the story. Okay, after this frame, we get a pan over of Scala at Kylum from the shoreline, and oh my god, this place is huge, like massive, like it's gorgeous. So we also see Plane lying face down and perhaps a Keyblade in front of them, or maybe just shore debris with the caption, "We were searching the coastline where the falling star was observed." So again, pointing to the possibility that it is in fact player that's a falling star instead of Brain. In the next scene, we see the actual construction site of Scala at Kylum, the very same site that was posted last week on the Kingdom Hearts Missing Link PR accounts. I'm so glad this art was actually included in the game, and it will probably be seen as like a flashback scene as opposed to the current day of Missing Link. And the caption in this frame reads, "Then you're a drifter," likely someone asking player basically where they came from. And from there, the scene pans down, showing the rest of the construction site before crossfades to player walking through the gates of Hospitality headquarters, with yet another caption of at least 2 people talking and saying, "So you must turn them over to the founders if they're uncooperative." So this caption absolutely has my brain buzzing, because I think the founders here are those who fall under the Society of Successors, the ruling class of Scala at Kylum. This likely means that the founders have developed their own way of governing in the society. Whether for better or for worse is unclear now, but we'll definitely see some inner workings of how the Keyblade masters and founders of that time rule. We also have what appears to be 2 people guarding the front of this gate, and it's kind of hard to see their faces, and that may be due to them being NPCs as opposed to like main characters. But then again, they may be shown to be important to the story later down the line. So in this next scene, we have player drifting through what just might be the astral plane, which is actually alluded to in the following scene. But as player is drifting, we hear another person saying, "I think I have just the right mission to test that heart of yours." And just from watching this scene, this could be showing just how Keyblade wielders of that time traveled to other worlds to train and perhaps restore those worlds to light. And as far as the voice in that scene, I'm very much intrigued by who exactly is speaking, especially because they alluded to testing the heart. But I haven't quite been able to put my finger on who it could possibly be. Perhaps it's a new character, but to me, the voice sounds very familiar. And so this scene fades into player talking to a girl with silver hair and green-blue eyes, who says, "The Society's Keyblade wielders travel to the astral plane to defeat the Heartless." So the internet has already brought up the question of whether this girl is Kyrie's grandmother. but I think just from looking at her face and outfit alone that she's likely a direct descendant of Ephemer, and she seems to be basically welcoming player in and giving him the rundown of what this new society does and how Keyblade wielders protect it. But we also get a couple of pictures behind this girl, and the one closest to her seems to be a coat of arms in the language of Scala at Kylum, with the other picture farther away possibly being a dedication of some sort. But I'm hoping that one of the features for Missing Link will be that we can simply examine these things as we run around and get a full translation. Okay, so this next frame is very much full gameplay, and there's a good bit here. First, the scale of this scene's GPS integration and gameplay compared to the first trailer scene is a massive world of difference. Like, the first trailer scene wasn't necessarily bad, but you can tell that the first trailer was more of a concept, and this more recent scene is basically what we could expect to see, which is overall quite impressive for a mobile game. But beyond the graphics, you can kind of see just how the battle system will work with the GPS integration. You have the Heartless pop-up icon showing where a Heartless battle is taking place, icons of some Disney characters which could depict either a world unlock along the astral plane perhaps. You also have a treasure icon showing where important treasure is, as well as these smaller green and gray icons, which might depict where maybe another player is, or maybe a mission within Scala at Kylum. And finally, you have what looks like these arrows that are actually shadows of possibly more Heartless, and of course a giant behemoth Heartless towards the back, which, if I remember correctly, depicts a raid boss, giving more of that MMO feel. But you can see the overall area is just very large, and this is only a screen grab of what we see in the teaser trailer, so who knows just how big this world actually is. And as the next scene sort of pans down to the action of the player traveling through Scala, you get another on-the-ground view of the area as well as some Heartless spawn. But you also get a follow-up comment from the girl in the previous scene that says the astral plane is a world connecting existence and non-existence. And there's just so much in that one sentence that will take a much fuller theory video to go over, but to put it here briefly, there's likely more to the whole thing of reality and fiction, the world quadratum, and the astral plane, and I think a good bit could be answered in this game. And right before we go into a whole new scene, we see players scaling a building towards what looks to be a large cloud of darkness. In the next frame, we have words forming on the screen saying, "Travel the world without stepping outside." And as a follow-up, the next scene shows an area map panning out, showing Disney character badges as well as treasure locations and raid boss missions. You can also see a filter option, a settings or registration option, and a hand signaling to go back. I'm guessing the filter option is to filter out the Disney-based missions from the treasure and raid boss missions, or vice versa. There's also an icon above the filter option that could be a save option. It's showing an arrow pointing down towards a circle that kind of looks like the save points we've seen throughout the Kingdom Hearts games, but I'm not entirely sure if that's actually a save button. And as the map continues to pan out, you can see the full globe, and there's yet another voice in the scene saying, "You do realize you should have informed the founders first," because we obviously can't do a Kingdom Hearts game without somehow going against the people in charge at some point. So the next frame shows the words, "A brand new tale and characters," before panning over to player and a character with red hair, wearing red and black, facing a circle of darkness forming over the area. And as the camera pans closer to that darkness, we see a dark side leap out. Another frame of words comes immediately after that, saying, "A blank era severed from history." Again, brain is buzzing over this phrase because exactly how and why was this era severed? We also have yet another voice stating, "Didn't think we were here for any old distortion," and "Which one's the calamitous star?" Before we pan back to the dark side attacking the red-haired character who seemed to be holding a rusty starlight keyblade before falling back. And then we have someone else, maybe the player or maybe whoever is talking to the player, say, "A rusty keyblade, mind if I take a look?" So this keyblade could actually be very important considering it's a rusty starlight and not a keyblade of Missing Link's era. Perhaps it could be a medium of some sort for either player or someone else from the past who traveled to this timeline. It could even be a keyblade passed down to the red-haired character, and that's why he was holding it in the scene. But I think there's more to this keyblade that's linked to the story. The next frame of words states an adventure featuring Disney worlds, which is obviously setting the stage for Disney to be featured in this scene. So here we get more gameplay with player using different character pieces, and you can see on the screen that we have pieces resembling Riku, Mickey, Pinocchio, and Pooh Bear. You can also see the frames are in different colors of gold, bronze, and silver. So this probably means that these abilities' strength, magic, or defense boost could depend on the frame. Gold meaning that there's a greater boost in battle, and bronze being the lower tier. This could also mean that these pieces are upgradable throughout the game. And as far as the actual world, it does look like it's a jungle, but it's unclear whether this is a world we've already been to in previous games or a new world. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that a new world is included in this game, since we did get a mobile version of the Wreck-It Ralph world in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. So maybe this is a Lilo and Stitch based world, or the Jungle Book for example. But also let's take a closer look at the Heartless currently in the scene. It's very much a new type of Heartless that we haven't faced before, and even its emblem is different. Granted, the captions throughout this trailer have all said Heartless, and nothing like Unversed for instance, so maybe this is just a different class of Heartless as opposed to entirely new creatures of darkness. That little guy is stylish though. But going back to the character pieces, I also noticed that we get the newer characters that we were introduced to from Kingdom Hearts 3 alongside some of our old faves. So for example, in the next frame we have Woody from Toy Story as a character piece, as well as Rapunzel from Tangle alongside Aladdin and Tinkerbell. And it even says in the following frame of words that we can collect character pieces imbued with powers. But outside of the character pieces, let's examine the next two statements voiced over. So the same voice is stating these next two lines, and I think it's the voice of the girl with the silver hair and blue eyes. So the first statement voiced during the battle scene says, "These fragments of memories from other worlds are precious to us." And right off the bat, I'm guessing they are in fact referring to the character pieces and why they're made the way they are. A key aspect of Kingdom Hearts is that it does tie in the importance of interacting and protecting other Disney worlds. So this makes total sense that these character pieces are in fact fragments of memories from other Disney worlds. And the second statement following that says, "Societies are always trying to keep each other from getting their hands on them," which is very interesting to say the least. It does make me wonder whether these societies exist amongst each other in Scholar at Kylum, and maybe that's why the world just seems so massive. And if those societies don't all exist in Scala, then just where are these other societies? But that'll likely be a deeper dive video for another day, but I do think it's worth pointing out to mull over for now. And after we see the battle scene, we cut to a scene of player running through different parts of Scala at Kylum. The first scene of player seems to be player running through the breezy corridor, and then cutting to player walking on the balcony of a restaurant? This world just seems so immersive and I'm here for it. And so yet another voice states in these scenes, "This is a city of light and darkness, dreams and distortions," a callback to the first trailer where Sigurd stated that very same thing as player looks up at the statue of Ephemer. The scene with the same statement then cuts to player exploring what seems to be Moogle shops in a nighttime view, which will likely be where we can purchase our items and possibly our character pieces. And on the tables of these shops, we can see more signage, but the ones that stick out to me the most are the little flags to the left of player, which look to be different family crests, or maybe different crests of the societies. The scene then cuts to players seemingly walking down the steps in a daytime view as the camera pans up towards the main tower of Scala at Kylum. And I think it's very interesting to note that Missing Link seems to be bringing back the daytime-nighttime interface, which actually makes sense considering it's also using a GPS feature, which if enabled, the game should be able to tell whether it's daytime in your region or nighttime. But I'm sure even without the GPS enabled, there will be a toggle option kind of like in Kingdom Hearts 3, where you can eventually choose to explore San Francisco during the day or at night. So this feature is actually going to be exciting for Missing Link because it could also indicate that the daytime-nighttime toggle will be brought back in future Kingdom Hearts console games as well, even as soon as Kingdom Hearts 4. But not only that, if I remember correctly, this feature was actually in the first beta test back in January of this year. And the interface even changed the type of Heartless you'd have to fight depending on if it was daytime or nighttime. Maybe the more challenging bosses with more rewards appear at night as opposed to during the day. So the final cut of this montage shows player approaching not the main tower, but a smaller building. I think this is the same building we first saw player pass through with the gates that light up. But it looks like player is facing a courtyard that leads to maybe headquarters or their current residence. So after player's walk montage, we cut to another scene with the words, "A journey filled with new experiences and encounters," with the voiceover finishing their statement with the metropolis of Scala at Kylum. And then we cut back to player's station of awakening, with players slowly turning around and facing a door. This is very much giving Kingdom Hearts 1, where we do see the exact same thing with Sora, and as player turns to face and unlock the door, we see them holding the rusty Starlight Keyblade that was in the previous scene with the red-haired Keyblade wielder, showing that this Keyblade more than likely belongs to player, at least at first. So the voiceover in the scene where player unlocks the door states, "And so the curtains rise and the story begins," with the door opening and fading to a scene where we see Brain's back turned away from the camera and looking upward towards the towers. The voice then concludes with "the story of the blank era, one that will eventually be forgotten," which might indicate something quite dark took place during this era where most of the people were either wiped out or replaced. Again, a theory for another day, but we have clues as to why this era was blank since we see Lushu covering the gazing eye on the no-name Keyblade, But why should this era be forgotten? What made this era not have a legacy worth remembering? So needless to say, there is a lot that will be uncovered in this game, and I'm so excited to dive right back in and shell out some theories based on what we got in this teaser trailer. But I want to hear from you, so let me know what you think of all this new missing link info in the comments below. If you want to explore some more Kingdom Hearts theories, I'll be linking another Kingdom Hearts theory video here in the end screen. And as always, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and want to watch more Kingdom Hearts content. And if there's anyone who may have questions about what to expect for the upcoming Kingdom Hearts games, be sure to share this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.